Marty/Marcia Marcia Marcia, thank you so much for joining us on Sentimental Men today.
It is the honor of a lifetime.
This has really been a long time coming. You've been such an ardent supporter of the pod.
Because I love it. And I love Wicked, and I love that you love it more than I do, probably.
No, I don't think so. We all love it.
No, it's not a competition.
It's not a pie. You're right.
Okay, so take us through how Wicked the musical came into your life, and then we'll get into the movie and all of that.
Okay, well, Wicked the musical came into my life because, like, a family friend had gone to see it, and, like, told my parents about it. And then I was like, Wait, what is this?
Because where did you grow up?
Long Island, New York.
Okay, cool. Accessible.
Yes. And they were like, oh, it's like a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. And I stopped dead in my tracks. I am, especially like as a kid, I was like the biggest Wizard of Oz person ever. Like, if you give me that screenplay, I can probably give you like pitch accurate line readings of all of it. Like, I love The Wizard of Oz. Like, you know how like when you're a little kid and you like something, then like every gift you get, like, oh, you said
Yes.
like rhinos, and like everything you get is rhinos. Wizard of Oz, like
Same.
Truly. I have every Barbie. I have every like play set, puzzle book. Like I have. Wait. Like,
Stop.
Literally.
Aww.
Obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. And then like in my like this was like I was in like, middle school, I think, and my mom was like, oh yeah, it's this musical. It's like the precursor to The Wizard of Oz, and I was like, what? I was like, how have I never heard of this? There's more? There's more? So, but at the time, for some reason, my parents felt I was too young to go see it. So I was like, okay, fine. So at some point, we did go, and I was so obsessed with it. We bought the CD at the theater, and I like wore her out. And then total, I've seen it 5 times.
Who was your first cast?
My first cast was Nicole Parker and Ali Mozzie.
Wow.
Which is like,
wait,
top tier.
I've seen some really iconic duos. Can I list them all for you now?
Yes,
Yeah,
list
please.
them.
Okay, and then I saw Lindsay Mendez and Katie Rose Clark.
Anniversary.
Yes. And then I saw Lindsay Pierce and Brittany Johnson.
Love it.
Revival Elphaba.
Unknowingly saw Brittany Johnson's first like permanent Glinda performance. It was me and my fiance's like anniversary, and we were like, let's go see Wicked, and we just like got tickets last minute, and then we were like, oh, it's like a thing, it's like an event tonight. We didn't realize that, which is very cool. It was another like iconic standing ovation. It's good to see me, isn't it? Which was like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then the 20th anniversary, I saw Alyssa and Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing. We were there.
Yes, you were, sure. And then one of my favorite little like brag moments, I saw it in Brazil last year.
Slay.
Oh my god. Is that the non-replica production?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Tell us everything.
Yes, I was touring part of Brazil for like Marcia after like post Drag Race.
Said, but Marty's got to go see Wicked.
That's the thing. It wasn't even my idea. When you travel to different countries, like as a person, you have like a person there that's like, oh, like let me show you around. Like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this?
That's cool.
And the man that was with me in Brazil was like, oh, I got us tickets to see Wicked tonight. It's in Portuguese, but like I'm sure you'll like it. So I was like, we're gonna go, of course. It's Myra Ruiz and Fabi Bang, and now me and Fabi are like mutuals on Instagram. She is a nut. I mean, there's something so beautiful about seeing a musical that you know like every single word to in a different language.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are like little things that have been like changed, so it's hard to like she would like say something and like do a little dance, and then like the whole building would cheer, and I'd be like, sure, whatever it was, hooray! And that was when she like flew over the audience.
Yeah, tell us all of the differences. I feel like you're breezing over this.
That was one of my favorite parts. Is a wig reveal in particular.
What kind of wig reveal?
She puts like a towel on Elphaba's head, like how to get out of the shower. She puts like a towel on her head, and then she takes the towel off and she's blonde.
Elphaba?
Wait, what?
I don't know how they did it. Yeah, but it was like a Party City wig. It wasn't like a wig.
Yeah.
I was like so gooped by that. I was like, how do they do it? And like the set was it was a lot more like screens.
Right.
But like the design was so inventive and so pretty, and
I love the
remember,
costumes in that version.
yes,
Me
the
too.
costumes were so cool. There's a moment that I've been seeing like circulate on the internet, also during Popular, where she's like shaving her legs, and then she lifts up her skirt and screams. I thought that was so funny.
Just crazy.
I remember in that production, thank goodness, it was really, really beautiful, because the set, she's like on top of a thing like she always is, but then it like spins and like the people go away and just like kind of like single spotlight in her gown. It's like really beautiful for there's a kind of sort of cost for that like whole little section, and then it like spins and like comes back into reality. It's gorgeous. And yeah, of course she flies over the audience, which is amazing.
How does that read in person?
It's amazing. It's so
Do you
thrilling.
see the wiring and whatnot, or is the illusion working?
I feel like I did, and I was like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just so exciting. It's so cool. Wicked in Brazil was amazing.
That's exciting. Was it jarring to see a non-replica production? I've always wanted to.
Kind of, but it was cool. I think with anything kind of like fairy tale-y, you can take so much agency and so many liberties. So it's cool to see what somebody else does. And do you know like the lore behind that production?
What lore? Tell
So
us.
like in like 2006 or something, early on, I don't know, I do not know the years, so don't quote me on any of this. They did like the original, like the replica production, like they brought Brazil.
Yeah.
They brought Wicked to Brazil, and it was the same two actresses. Like
Yes.
they're the only two that have ever like full time played those parts in Brazil.
Right.
And they're also the dubs, the Portuguese dubs for the movie. It's like the sweetest thing in the world. It's like they are like the Brazilian Glinda and Elphaba.
Yeah. I want to know how a non-replica production gets greenlit and like what the logic is behind it.
I think Steven Schwartz was involved in that one. Again, I could
Interesting.
be wrong, but I think
Yeah.
he was involved in some way. But yeah, because I know there's one in Germany too, right? Which is also like wacky to see.
Okay, so that is the last time you saw Wicked in Portuguese?
I think so. I think that was the last time.
Take us back to the first time you saw it. What were the feelings and emotions you were having? Were you hooked immediately?
Oh yeah, I was obsessed with it. I think there's something about Wicked that connects specifically to queer people, queer children, because I saw myself in Glinda, but also saw myself in Elphaba, because I'm like, wow, I wish I could be that like pink and fluffy and silly all the time, but I like don't feel comfortable doing that. And then because I had to kind of go about life in a way that I wasn't totally comfortable, or I couldn't feel like I fit in totally, like I resonate with Elphaba. And I remember sitting there, and even today when I watch theater, I'm like edge of my seat, like I buy into everything like 100%. I'm a very good audience member, I think, because I'm very enthusiastic about it. And yeah, I fell in love with it. I remember also at intermission, my mom was like, "Oh, I bet Fierro is going to be the Scarecrow." I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Well, Fierro in Spanish means fire or something like that." And she
Is
was
that
like,
true?
I'm not sure. Again, I'm giving you a lot of not accurate information.
But that's like dramaturgy, Mom.
I know. And she was like, "Oh, and then the lion is the lion, and I'm sure that little one he's like love struck, so he's gonna be the Tin Man." And I was like, "What?"
That little one.
That little one, whoever it was at the time. But yeah, I very distinctly remember my mom saying that. And then I remember being very, very excited by all the parts where like Dorothy was in it for a second. Like, I don't know. I was sold. and I was, again, Popular was like it for me. I was like, oh, I'm done. And because it was, of course, Ali Mosley's Popular at the time.
Well, it's been interesting to see with the movie out, all of the normal people starting to realize or get glimpses that Fiyero turns into the Scarecrow. Because I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
this is common knowledge, guys.
I think it's crazy that people haven't seen it, just like ever, or they don't know about it, or they've never heard Defying. Like, it's just crazy to me. But I'm glad that they know now.
Same.
Okay, so tell us about your first experience seeing the movie. When was it? What was it?
Oh, my first time seeing the movie, I think it was like October 6th or something like that. I was I was on my vacation. I was in Disneyland with my fiance, and we were like sitting down, whatever. And Ari texted me and was like, "Oh, we're doing like an early screening on Tuesday. Do you want to go?" I was thinking about people like in New York that would want to go early, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Of course I would." So I like text my stage managers immediately, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna be there on Tuesday."
Stop!
Personal day. So I saw it in the Universal screening room here in New York with like 7 other people. I was sitting there like in absolute silence because I need to focus. I need to remember all of this. And I sent her a 10.5-minute voice note after. And I'm not sure if she's listened to it yet because it was the week she was doing SNL. So she was like, she was busy, obviously. But she sent me a voice memo back and was like, "Oh my God, I thought you were kidding. What I saw your text that this is 10 minutes, and I thought you were joking, but no, it's actually 10 minutes. Oh my God."
She's like, I'm gonna have to file this away for later.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's listened to it. I don't expect her to, because it's literally 10 minutes long.
What did you think? Because I also saw it for the first time. We got invited to one of those Universal private screenings, and Kevin couldn't go, and I was alone with like 4 other people in the room. And after every number, I wanted to clap, but the vibes were dead.
I wanted to clap so bad at so many moments, and I was like, "This is disrespectful to the people in the room." Like after,
I want to be like, guys, we can have fun. Like, come on,
we can have fun. We're not singing. We didn't enjoy it though. After Popular, I wanted to stand up so badly. I was like, "There's no way for me to express how much I loved this sitting in silence," and just like sitting there being like, my God. Also, yeah, I was a nuisance at Cabaret the next months. Honestly.
Oh my God, yeah. Being someone who's seen it before the world gets it turns you into like everyone's texting you suddenly.
Yes, turns you into an absolute monster. Also, because I wanted to tell people things. I was just like, it's great. Don't worry, everyone. It's great. Fantastic.
What were your broad strokes thoughts on the movie the first time?
Oh my gosh. The first time I knew she would be fantastic. I was so wowed by Ari. I was so wowed by her. I was like, the comedic chops are unbelievable. Like undeniable. I was like, and she's dancing. The dancing. Just kind of across the board the dancing.
That's what I said too.
The dancing, I think, is so spectacular in the whole thing. And Cynthia is just, it just broke my heart. Defying Gravity took me out. Mustache Man was a big one. Mustache Man was huge for me. I was like,
it was I So Enjoy Air. That really got me.
I So Enjoy Air. Oh my God. At the premiere, I was sitting next to her mom. I was sitting next to
because you went to New York premiere.
Yeah, the New York premiere. I was sitting next to Joan. We were like across the aisle from each other. And in Dancing Through Life, when Fiyero goes, "You're good," she goes, "I don't know what you mean. I love helping others." I love helping others. We reached across the aisle and held hands and laughed because it's just such. There's just so many.
For me, it's but I wasn't at any of your other schools.
Also, do you know what line I repeat constantly? This is a deep cut.
Okay.
It's when Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia are walking down the staircase before the Wizard and I, and she's like, "Oh, my father will never allow it." And she's like, "So don't worry about that. I'll speak to him immediately." It's my favorite thing in the world. I say it all the time. I'll speak to him immediately.
I'll do this now.
I'm just, it's just so, God, the whole thing is just so excellent. It's just, it's so beautiful.
What surprised you? Like, what were you not expecting in the film?
Oh my God, the end of Popular. That was, for me, what I like blacked out for a second. And the jump out the window and defying gravity.
The little girl moment.
First of all, the face first through the glass. Obsessed. then the child herself. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, and of course the cameos really got me too.
And had you known, like you had heard there were cameos in it?
I knew that. Yeah, I knew. I mean, they had to be in there somewhere.
Did you know it was that moment?
No, I was assuming it was going to be like a
quickie,
a parent thing or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
My gosh, it's so, and also that was so helpful for me because, like, again, I've seen the Broadway show 5 times. If you had asked me before I saw the movie what the name of the book was, I would have been like, I don't know. But like, they put the important backstory in, and I was like, this is stuff that at least in the musical kind of like goes over my head. I'm so like, oh my God, Defying Gravity's happening soon. Oh my God. But yeah, that was really helpful for me. I think it's great.
Okay, so there is, because in the movie, Elphaba is not originally enrolled in Shiz, and then I think I gaslit myself into thinking that is also the same way in the stage show. But I think in the stage show, she does arrive ready to be a student.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In the novel, she's not.
There has been some online discourse about whether the breaking up of Defying Gravity was effective or not. I would love to hear both of your thoughts.
The only part I would have taken out are the long unlimiteds while they're showing like the Shiz students. I think we could have maybe plugged that in elsewhere because that for me is like because even in the musical, like it does take breaks, which I think is lovely, and I didn't notice any of them substantially until the those like long soft ones. Oh, thank you so much. But I mean, I understand why they put them in, but
well, that makes me think, because they so intentionally added that unlimited refrain in. Noga Deed pre-Broadway had an unlimited moment in the song, and so I'm wondering if that is going to make it back into part 2.
Maybe.
Because then they could really draw the through line through each of the big numbers.
Sure. And I'm here for it. Whenever I see something that has been obviously like made with so much thought and care and everything like that, even if I don't necessarily like or agree with something, I'm like, they had a reason to do it and they felt it was necessary, so they did it. So my goal is always to watch and like justify in my own mind,
100%.
like, why do they do that? And I think it makes sense. I like that we get a little flashback to Shiz.
I went on that journey with the giant Jeff Goldblum statue in The Wizard and I, where I was like, after like the second time, I was like, I don't get this. I'm like, why? I don't get it. But then I was like, if I know John M. Chu, he did this for a reason. And then I realized it's that everybody else has only seen that like drawing version of the wizard, but Elphaba has now seen his actual likeness, so then she can physically recognize him in the chamber.
Yeah.
Wait, walk me through that.
Because it's like they keep showing like illustrations,
but that's there for everyone at Shiz.
No, but it's like hidden. She had to like climb and scale.
You don't think other students were finding that?
I don't.
I
I thought it helped to like establish how much of a deity he was in this world.
It was giving under construction to me because like first we saw like they had just put up the thing to cover the picture of the animals, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That got a big gasp out of me the first time.
That was a really good touch.
I saw a really interesting TikTok about how he was talking about like Elphaba's through line and how like she sees the vision, and that informs why she's so willing to go against him at the end of the show. And I'd never thought about that. I was like, oh, she's
I really like that you see the vision in the movie, because in the stage show that lyric can be glazed over.
Because it can be vague,
heady.
Like I have a feeling about this, but yeah, I love that she sees it and she's like, defying gravity. She's like, well, whatever I do, it's gonna be fine. Like I've seen.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that was a really interesting point. That she's like, oh well, whatever I think is right is going to be the right thing because I've seen it and I know the ending and it's going to be fine.
And it's so tragic that it's such a misunderstanding what she's seen.
Yes.
I just like keep going back to how faithful of an adaptation this movie was to the stage show. Like it really feels like you're just watching Act 1 as it appears on stage, but everything has room to breathe. Were there any stage aspects that you missed in the movie?
I will say the first time I watched it, immediately clocked no innuendo. I was like, oh, I got it. I was like, what else are they gonna cut? Oh no! But no, I really agree. It does feel like such a great representation of what this version of the story is, and I think all of the changes that were made enhanced it a lot.
Yes.
I mean, like this scene, the "You're Green" scene, I think tells so clearly the kind of person that Glinda is. Like as she's walking away, and she's like, "Did that come off badly? Like I was trying to be nice. Like I know that girl. I know that girl so well, and I loved that. Also, sorry, I just thought of this. Another kind of a change that wasn't like super, like they didn't change the script or they didn't change any of the music, but Elphaba's power in the musical feels very much like I can't control my emotions and this happens. Where in the movie, it seems like they made a pointed effort that it's in response to like something being threatened, or like she has like a protective impulse, and that's when it happens. Like with the coin and with Nessa, and just that's when it happens. It's not like, and even Madame Morrible says it, like once you learn to harness or like control your emotions, like harness your power. But that's not what it is. It comes out when she needs to help someone, and I thought that was such a nice touch because it's taking something that's like kind of like, oh, it's just happening, whoops, to like, oh no, it's very intentional and it's very coming from a really specific place, and I thought that made it so much more nuanced.
I also think a directorial choice that was made to deepen everything is Ozdust. Like, I think we have now forgotten that on stage, the Ozdust scene doesn't play that same way, and I think that's very intentional. Like, I don't think it's directed to play as deep and hurtful. It's a little bit played for laughs on stage, and in the movie, it's really a gut punch.
It is. There's, oh my gosh, there's one continuity issue that I have.
Okay.
She gives Fiyero the wand, and then they leave together. And then she has the wand of Popular. I didn't catch this until the fifth time I watched it. I was like, oh. And I was like, it would have been so cool if she had a moment where she like runs back to him and like grabs it out of his hand. Because that show is like, oh, it's always in her head. And it's also a moment of being like, I'll save you for later. Have fun. I'm going with her tonight.
Going to bond with my girlie.
I just think that would have been a cool moment if they put it in. But no. Hey, maybe the director's cut. Maybe the director's cut. Who knows? Along with the shirtless box scene, of course, that everyone.
Well, okay, so let's get into it. Have you looked into those deadline scenes?
Yes, I read some of the changes.
Shirtless Bach and Fiyero would have loved to see, but larger scale, that whole friendship montage, because we've been talking about that one scene in the opening of the movie that we never saw. I love that friendship montage because even in the stage show, you don't really get to see them as a group of friends. You kind of just assume that they're all in the weeds together.
There was an interview that Ethan Slater did on one of the red carpets where he starts talking about like, oh yeah, like Bach is kind of like this odd one out, and then he finds this group of friends, and I was like,
huh?
What are you talking about? You're not together that much, girl.
Ethan's experience of Bach.
But like, because I mean, he has all of that. Like, they filmed it. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And I would love to see it.
Well, even that scene, the cut scene, one where everyone's sending Elphaba off to the Emerald City, and Dulcibert is also there, and then chooses not to speak in front of Madame Morrible. That, to me, is really good storytelling and chilling.
Yeah.
Dulcibert was also, like, a complete shock as well when I watched the movie. I forgot, because I think in the musical, like, it's such like it's just like a mask, kind of.
Uh-huh.
And I, for some reason, like, didn't...
Is it even a bear in the musical?
No. It's
something.
It's a something, but it's not giving bear.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
It has horns, for sure. Maybe it's also a goat, and it's, goat connection, that she's delivered by a goat, so she has a soft spot for Doc.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But I, like, completely forgot that there would be, like, so many animals. Because in the musical, it's really only Dr. Dillerman.
Which I did like. Mm-hmm. Like, even the visuals in Something Bad where they're showing, like, the shadows of all the animals getting abused, that to me made it more real than that storyline. Because I think the animal storyline, yes, that's what Wicked's about, but it's easy to kind of forget about that when you're watching it on stage.
Sure.
And in the movie, it's really... Don't agree?
No, I do. No, absolutely. I think in the musical, because it's live and it's happening so much more quickly, that you're focused on the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the monkeys, of course. The monkeys. I forgot the monkeys.
The monkeys.
History, girl. You can't forget about history. But yeah, I think in the movie, like they've spoken about this as well, about saying like you're seeing like an animal like experience this. It's not just like a person in a mask. Like your brain isn't like telling you that's just a person, it's fine. It's like, oh no, that's an animal. That's an animal in a cage. That monkey is really going through some really painful transformation.
The other cutscene that I thought was super interesting was when Bach clocks her tea and is like, how could you change your feelings about Fiyero? And then Elphaba says, what are you talking about? And he's like, I thought we were being honest.
Oh, I thought we were being honest.
That, I'm like, show us that Bach.
I was like, get her.
Yeah. But it makes me excited for the second movie, because if Ethan had that much to do in this first one, and it's that interesting, then when he really gets time to shine in the second one, I'm excited.
I'm really excited about the second one. Some of my favorite moments are in the second one.
Well, because this one was so faithful to Act 1, do you think second movie does the same thing, or do you think that's where they let their freak flag fly?
Freak flag.
Oh, I think they had to make their first one as close to the musical as possible, so the people that love it will be like, oh, they have a respect for it, they understand what we're doing. Moving on, I think people will allow their minds to be open a little bit more. Because I think if they changed too much in the first one, it wouldn't have been taken well. Where I think the second half of the story, especially like I have my dressing roommate in Cabaret, David Marino, is a very big fan of the book and has like gone through like really what happens in the book.
What does he think of the first movie?
He liked it a lot. He had qualms here and there, but he understood like this is an adaptation of the musical, not of the book. And I think that's what's important. We saw it in 4D together, which was a wild experience.
I still want to do that. I heard you get like punched in the back when Chistery's growing wings.
Oh yeah. And they spritz you with water, and they spray you with with the fans and stuff like that. It's crazy. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be different. Like, it's just like the little teaser we got, like, of the wedding, and there's like music. I think it's going to grow some legs and or maybe some wings, perhaps. And
Well, I think you're right, because I am so on board for it to be different now, having gone through this first movie journey. Like, I'm actually more excited at the prospect of it being different from the stage show.
I agree 100%. Because I'm obviously very excited for those moments. I'm excited for. I'm so excited for Thank Goodness. That's gonna break me. It's going to break me.
There was an AI, thank goodness, of Ariana going around, and even listening to that, I was like, oh my god.
Oh my God. I genuinely believe it is one of the best written songs, like, in the musical theater canon.
Yeah.
To have a character going through something so complicated in a public setting is just so, there's so much, like, as an actor I would kill like Glinda, and to do that, it's my favorite version is the Katie Rose Clark when she's like when she does the I'm like, yes, walk away from the microphone, take your time.
My underrated, thank goodness, that I feel like no one talks about is Patty Murin, because she was incredible as Glinda.
Oh, I'm sure. I will be watching it immediately after.
Thank goodness is also interesting because I was listening to it the other day. She's describing a very complex emotional feeling and situation in very basic, simple terms, and it still resonates emotionally.
Yeah, because I think it's just how telling, like, a simple, like, these are all very simple truths, and I always try, and when I hear that song, what really sticks out to me is that she's speaking to people who maybe have, like, the same dreams that she has, and she's like, this just happened for me. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's weird, and I don't totally like it. So maybe, like, be happy with what you have. And I think it's, oh gosh, it's just like the moment of her, like, reckoning with the fact that, like, her actions can hurt other people in, like, a really major way.
Okay, so what moments do you think from the show were enhanced by being on film?
Well, like you said, Ozdust, absolutely. Oh gosh, um, I I think the Morrible Glinda relationship is a little more clear.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, because she's not holding back at all. Like, and obviously in the musical, she has moments where she's just like, I don't really see this for you, but but there's, like, a real disdain for her.
Well, Michelle's Morrible is much more to the point and doesn't do the fanfare of it all.
And I have this theory. I have this wild. It's crazy. I think Madame Morrible does not like Glinda because she sees herself in her. And I think
Interesting.
Glinda, there are too many well-placed wins for her to not be making them happen. I think maybe Glinda has a little weather witch in her as well. So when she does her little and Madame Morrible is like, oh, I was that girl. I was that power hungry, like, beautiful young woman, and I'm not that anymore. And I hate this girl because she is. I
Interesting.
I see that.
You theorizing that Glinda can control the weather.
Maybe she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know.
Says the wind blowing.
But I mean, the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she needs to be there, because she does I just love air, wind,
and it's always a gust. Like, you hear the sound.
Yes.
It is like a very intentional.
And when she walks
wind.
away from Piero, and she looks back, and there's a wind gust.
No, it's kind of brilliant.
I think she's doing it. I do. People love to be like, she's not magical. I'm like, wait till part 2. And again, I love that scene with Glinda and Elphaba when they first meet, and she has that line, offering to help someone you don't know with skills you don't have. I think it just so beautifully sets up, like, who these people are. Like, she is so quick to be like, you can't get past me. Like, I'm not falling for this. And she still is like, oh, oh no, wait. Like, and that's what scares her about her. Obviously not that she's green, but that she's like, oh no, I'm being challenged by someone and no one has ever challenged me in my life. What's going on?
Alphaba can see her.
Yeah, I just, there's so many moments of clarity that I think are so special.
I'm Not That Girl obviously really works.
Yes. I'm Not That Girl is gorgeous. And like right at the beginning of that song, like the onset of that song, I think is so beautiful because she had like the hands touch. She's like barely. Oh, it's so sad. And I love that she gets to watch them from afar at the end.
Yeah.
And like that song, I'm not always like obsessed with that song when I see it in the show. Or in the movie, I think it hit me a little bit harder.
Yeah. On stage, I think conditions have to be really perfect for that song to really hit with me.
Sure. Because it is really the moment we see her at her most vulnerable. Like the lyric, don't lose sight of who you are, I think is such a beautiful lyric because it's usually something someone would say with like pride, like don't let anybody change you. Where in this context, she's like, don't forget you can't go there. It's like she's kind of self-holding, but it's in this like soft, beautiful moment, and it's just like this vulnerability that like we really don't see from Alphaba too much. With the exception of like little moments in The Wizard and I when she is truly alone and she's like, oh my god, this is happening, everything I've ever wanted is coming true. But then a lot of the time it's her vulnerability is also like met with a wall or met with sarcasm or met with some kind of like jab where it's like this moment she's allowing herself to be weak. I think that's what it is. She's allowing herself to like exhale for the first time, and it's just so beautiful.
Tell us more about the New York premiere. What was the energy and vibes?
Oh, it was really cool. I spent a lot of the night.
Most closed down premiere on the tour.
Yes. I got there and I was like, oh my gosh, what is it going to be? And I was like, it's the MoMA. Fantastic. But yeah, like Kristen was there. I spent a lot of the night with Frankie, which was really nice. Frankie's such a sweetheart. I was honored to be there. It was all because of Ari, truly. It was she like got me in, and I said, thank you, my sweet angel. Because it was my birthday, also.
Oh my god!
It was like, I got to bring my fiance, which was so cool.
We have the same birthday.
We do? November 15th?
Yeah, I just remember that. Yeah.
Oh, cute.
We're likely conceived on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I'm a twin, so that's a double whammy. But yeah, the premiere was very cool. It felt very it was very small. It felt very intimate. The carpet was beautiful, and I loved getting to see so many people react to it because I had already seen it. I allowed myself to kind of just like watch it as a movie and like not trying to remember things that I wanted to tell Ari about or not take notes about it. I was like, I'm just gonna watch this as a movie, and it was very cool and like an instance where everybody applauded after every single number.
Right.
Steven Schwartz was sitting like a row or two behind me, which was crazy.
Wow.
Also, oh my god, after the movie, I get up because my fiance Kyle was like at the front and I was in the middle, so I like ran down to the front and I was like, "What did you think?" And he was like, "It's a triumph." One of the things he says is, "I didn't get who was the guy. The wizard will see you now. He seemed like he should have been like more like excited about." I was like, "That was Steven Schwartz, and he's sitting right behind you." And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." I couldn't believe he didn't.
Oh my god.
He was like, I thought he'd be like more excited. And I was like, yeah, well, it was Steven Schwartz, so I think it's probably okay.
He's been on a long 20-year journey.
Literally. Oh, God. Who rang that bell? Am I right? Maybe if that was it, he would have put it together.
Can you believe
Oof.
that gagged us?
Who rang that bell? I guarantee you, that pitch accurate.
Yes.
Who rang that bell?
What are your thoughts on Swankified Place in Town getting cut? I've seen outrage about that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I like the opposition of he knows where everything is. He doesn't have to ask.
He would. It's dramaturgically sound.
He'd be on that horse, reading up, figuring it out, looking at maps,
I saw Lemons, Melons, and Pears was in the original screenplay, and that would have been cute.
Oh, that would have been cute.
But the movie's long. They had to make cuts.
They had to make cuts, and I think they made all the right ones.
Yeah.
I really do. Oh, God, I can't wait for the second one. Do you think they're going to have an equally enormous press tour for the second one?
We've been talking about this timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're really going to stop because they're already like pumping out, look at all the awards we're winning. So we're in the awards push now. And then by the time the Oscars are over, yeah, then it's summer and it's time to start selling the second movie.
Because we got the first teaser at the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And that's soon, right?
Yeah, it was in February.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane for the cast. I'm like, how are they going to keep doing this for that long?
I mean, if it were me, I'd be like, keep sending me clothes. Let's go. Woo!
I am just excited for... Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have a favorite premiere look from any of them?
I really, really loved the first premiere.
The Australia
premiere. I thought the looks were just so classic and beautiful and chic. Although they slayed LA.
I think Ari's LA, the pink gingham Tom Brown, I think that was my favorite.
Yeah.
In the little basket. Oh!
And Cynthia's leather. Like, yeah, they really
Oh
did
my
slay
God,
LA.
was that the hands?
Yeah, the hands were my favorite.
Yeah. No, that was Mexico City. I loved Ari's Mexico City look.
Oh, that was the kind of like iridescent, the kind of opalescent one. Yeah, the one that came down. Beautiful. God, I think all of the outfits have been so gorgeous. Something Ari and I particularly connect on is fashion. We have very similar like references. Everything she's worn, I'm like, fantastic. Give me full scene of them.
You have to do a show, the Ari Wicked press tour show, and just change looks.
I would 1,000%. I truly love everything. But I also, if it isn't LA, the Olympics looks, which by the way were not made as a set.
Oh, really?
They were not made together. They showed up and said, "Oh my god," because they were like.
Because I have been wondering, are they sharing ahead of time, or are they truly on their own journeys, fashion wise?
Ari has mentioned to me that no, that they have like, it's this premiere, we're gonna go with like this theme, but they don't like see what each other are doing.
Wow.
Which I think is so amazing and so cool.
Do you think we're getting a live Defying Gravity at one of these award shows, maybe the Oscars?
Oh.
Why?
We have to get a live performance.
It depends if it's nominated, if the soundtrack is nominated. And I don't...
No.
It's not, because they didn't write a new song.
We're not going to get a live performance from them between now and the next movie? In any capacity?
I mean, we might next time, because there's new music.
With the new songs, yeah.
I have to think they're going to find a way to do it.
Maybe the Grammys.
Oh, sure. Maybe the Grammys, yeah. I mean, if Lady Gaga can come out and sing Climb Every Mountain, anything is possible.
It has to happen somehow. I think we'll get it.
I hope so. I would love that. It would make me happier than anything, but...
Okay, we have a listener movie reaction that we want to listen and react to with you.
I would love to.
Hello, gentlemen of Sentimental Men Pod. My name is AJ, and I am a new listener of the podcast. I was introduced by my friend Vanessa,
Hi.
who is obsessed with y'all.
Thank you, Vanessa.
And I just have to say, thank you so much for all the work you do with Wicked. and theater in general provides, you know, entertainment for us and a haven per se. I just want to say how amazing it is that we're that we're alive in this generation where we got to witness Wicked be brought into a film.
Truly.
I've now seen the movie 3 times, and I fear that I have a new obsession with this movie. Unlike the love that I have for the musical, which is already so strong. I love the musical so much, but there's something about this movie that's just so magical. And what I think is so amazing is that, you know, you have this musical that's already beloved, but now we have a movie that is, you know, an homage to us theater kids who, you know, wanted to see this happen, and it's so well executed. But it's also appealing to those who may not even like musicals or now like musicals because of this film. And it's just remarkable to watch all these people who had never even heard of Wicked and now love it. So I think that's something to be said. With that being said, there's so many moments in this movie that I just really, really, really enjoyed. But I have to say, my favorite, and it happens every time I watch it, I pick a new favorite part. But watching Defying Gravity on the big screen, I don't necessarily know what I expected going into it. I knew that it had to be amazing, but every time I watch it, it's just so incredible. And I think one of the unlimited motif is amazing, and but really what drew me into this whole performance, because it's such a spectacle, is the moment that Elphaba's falling and she looks at herself, her child self, in the reflection before the "It's me" starts, and you hear all the chatter in the head, and she's just free falling, almost to her death, what it seems like, but, you know, ends up catching herself on the broom. That entire sequence is just so incredible to me, that whole sequence. But also there's several moments in that song that are amazing, when she puts on the cape and the cinematography pulls out, and it's so amazing. And I guess I just want to say that with a movie like this, you really, there's the stakes were so high. And I guess I want to know what you guys thought on moments of cinematography that were added, obviously because this is a film, moments like that were added in that were not originally in the Broadway production. What do those moments mean for y'all, and what did you take away? I mean, I know there's several moments, you know, like, for example, the beginning with the hat, and then the monkeys flying through, and then we have Defying Gravity. There's several moments, but I guess I just want to know, what did you guys think of those moments that enhanced this film in every possible way?
Kevin, you love the
That Shiz entrance. Yeah, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It's every part of it. And honestly, this is my spicy take. I think I'm glad that we only get that shoulder right there. I think I wouldn't like it as much if we also got it in the montage. Because now it just feels like it's like a private little...
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, when did Elphaba and Glinda the friendship montage? I think I'm okay that it's not there. I think I'm okay that all that remains of it, because it's like a little secret between the two of them. When did they have time to go to a field? We don't know.
Sit in a field.
We don't know, but they did it.
They sure did.
Could either of you imagine what Defying Gravity would look like on film prior to the movie? I always had such a hard time doing it without making it look cheap.
I couldn't. I really couldn't. I like that they have the homage to the cape. That was
Huge cape.
The huge cape. Something that I do want to mention. Stephen Skybell, who's in Cabaret, was a Dr. Dillman for a very, very long time.
Wow.
And he was at the Wicked cast screening that they did. So for a while, he came back the next day, and I was like, "What did you think of everything?" And he touched on the moment, the window, and he was like, "Oh, I thought she was trying to herself," and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "I didn't
my God.
think that at all." And then watching it again, I was like, "Oh, I don't agree with that per se." But I was like, if one were to be a contrarian and thinking about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Seeing her childhood self with that in your mind is like, she's like, oh no, I can't. I have to do it for her. Also, another thing that's, sorry, I keep thinking of random things. While she's falling, I think it's so interesting that she gets kind of like caught in the cape.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously that's what would happen if you jumped out of a window and you had a cape on. But just like dramaturgically, having it be the thing that Glinda put on her is the thing that is like wrapping her up. I think is just a really beautiful parallel.
Even if she didn't jump out the window with the intention to off herself, was like a piece that was made, and like, I don't know if this broom works, so there's a very real opportunity this will be it. And that, I think, is equally impactful, as impactful.
Also, I think it is wild that she did not sit on the broomstick.
But that's why I couldn't do it, because I was like, if she sits on it, it's not going to work. Like, it's not going to look cool on film.
My hands get sweaty when I watch that because I'm nervous she's going to fall. Because she's just holding on at one point with one hand.
That's like upper body strength is what that is.
Your wrists.
I like to think the magic of the broom also keeps her hand on it.
It has to. You have to justify it. And that's
There it is.
I saw somebody online saying that their theory or like their interpretation was that Madame Marble is like down in the wizard's chamber creating the weather around Elphaba and like to make her look more sinister to the people on the ground. And I was like, okay, work. I love that.
makes
I
sense.
love that.
Or maybe it's Glinda.
Or maybe it's Glinda.
There was a tweet that was the Wizard and I, that like empty, dead field she's running in. Someone was critiquing it, and they were like, no, that was Madame Morrible causing the drought in Oz, giving people a reason to blame the animals.
All Madame Morrible. All Madame Morrible.
I do think she's going to be terrifying in the second movie.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the scene. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just remembered I'll go talk to him immediately, and then she walks away, and then there's wind right after she leaves. So maybe she is. Maybe it is immediately.
Immediately.
A change in the weather.
Oh my god, I also love the rain. We can't have you getting wet.
Mm-hmm.
Planting the seeds.
Okay, Marty.
Yes.
You kind of gave us your Glinda answer for this. Is it fair to say you would be a thank goodness Glinda?
I'm also hilarious, so popular would be.
Okay, Elphaba. Would you be a Wizard and I, Defying Gravity, or No Good Deed Elphaba, and why?
Oh, I think Wizard and I think just because of my general demeanor, the kind of like hopeful, like kind of like release is so exciting, and just like knowing where it goes, the fact that she can really like revel in joy for the first time is just so special. And I love the Wizard and I think out of all of the Elphaba songs, that's the one that I like to like sing the most. And it's the one that if I were to play the part, would be the one that I would like doing the most.
That used to be our least favorite answer, but I feel like we've been getting it more often lately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what to
I
say.
think it's because all these new girls grew up singing it, so it's not like.
Oh, sure.
Like the earlier Elphabas, they're like, you want me to sing what 8 times a week? But the ones that are our age are like, yeah, and
This is it now.
Everything's changed so much.
I know.
And also, I love all of like the little. Again, I think it sets up so much, like the vision and the I'd be so happy I could melt. It's such like a cute little nod to the original story, and I absolutely, one of my favorite changes that was made in the movie was that extra little bar of music for the jump.
That's her only instance of happy magic in the movie.
Happy magic. Yes. See, she deserves it because she doesn't let herself.
Deserves it.
She doesn't let herself. She can't believe anything positive. She can't believe it too quickly, or else it's gonna go away and it's gonna be sad.
This has been so fun, Marty. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you again. It's been the honor of my lifetime.
Oh, we appreciate it.